Hey, welcome to the Break Orders podcast. Got a special guest, got my man Max Moore. How you doing?
How we doing, George?
Doing well. You want to tell a bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I am currently a 23-year-old living in Manhattan, and I'm working for the New Jersey Devils in event services. I've worked in sports my whole professional career, and prior to that, all my internships have been in sports. So I'm in nonprofit now. I've been selling 50/50. I worked for the Yogi Berra Foundation and Museum in Montclair, New Jersey before that. I'm actually up for a promotion at the Devils right now. So
All right,
fingers
let's
crossed.
go. Let's
Help
go.
supervise 50/50 there at the arena.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. All right. You mentioned you're the brand ambassador, your internship. That's like how you got in. You want to tell a bit about that?
Oh, the brand ambassador for betstamp, was that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, so betstamps are actually a really great organization. They are like Expedia for betting. So if you're into betting and you have a lot of books like myself, I'm a member on every legal book in New York. So there's seven. It really helps so you can compare odds and see where the best lines are going to be for that game on that night. To have that all in one place is really helpful if you're an avid bettor, if you're using a big payroll, if your units are anywhere from $50 to $300, you're going to want to make insightful, educated guesses, as a lot of people like to call them. So I got involved with Betstamp, with meeting up with some of those guys. They're out of Toronto, Canada. Big betting culture up there, and I sort of just wanted to get involved with the the betting industry, and that was a great way to do it. So they sent me a message on LinkedIn. I got involved, and I've just sort of been pushing it in social situations, via email. It's more of just a casual way to get people involved in the application. So I love it. I use it every day, and anybody who's up for using it, they can go and sign up. Use the code MAXM if you guys want any bonus stuff when you sign up for other books. Yeah, Betstamp's great. It's really, really fantastic product
Yeah,
because it helps people
links
win
in
money.
the description. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll send it. I'll put it down there for you. Yeah,
So
I've got my own personal link. It's pretty nice.
nice, nice. So you work Yogi Berra Museum, like from the Jersey area. How's it working for the Devils?
Working for the Devils is great. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. I'm from Montclair, New Jersey.
Right.
Um, Grew up there. I'm college in Manhattan, so I've been in this area, long time. Really love it here. The museum for me was more like that's my childhood. The Yogi Berra Stadium at Montclair State University. I mean, I went to go get Yogi Berra's autograph there when I was 7 years old. His family's still in Montclair. He lived in Montclair for 30 years. I think something like that. I mean, he's there. He was there the whole time I lived there. Um, he's an amazing person and was an amazing person. And his messages and his aura is just all around the museum. So I wanted to be involved with it. And it is a nonprofit, and I've always been interested in that because any way I can work in sports and help other people that's to me really the end goal. So I had two great summers there, and I'm still in touch. Eve Shanen runs the program, phenomenal, does great educational things for kids, local community like community colleges. They do elementary schools, they do public schools, inner city, you name it. And it's this sort of great free education on baseball and what baseball does for communities and what baseball has done for the lower class through its whole existence.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I can relate to that. I'm
Yeah.
like on the fan services roles and jobs that I work for, and I always like making it being about the fan. It's always an important part of my life. Make them the best experience as possible. I'm assuming you could relate to that as well.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Myself being just such a huge sports fan and having those emotional connections to my teams, like I know how much I feel appreciated when I'm having a great time at the ballpark or wherever it ends up being. If I feel engaged, I feel that it's a real love. It is a real love for like for me and the Mets. Same goes for you. I mean, I love the Mets more than anything. It's been my one thing. I mean, you can go through girlfriends, you can go through grow apart from friends, family members pass away. But every spring, every March, I know that I turn on SNY, and I go to City Field, and my boys will be there for me. So, I can definitely relate to that. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. All right, see, uh, let's branch off with the doubles more. So
Yeah.
50-50. It's great. I experienced that with the Jets.
Yeah.
It's been great. So I'm assuming like you can ask the winner under the after the third period. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So 50-50 is great. As soon as doors are open, we're going. We've been doing something really great, which a lot of arenas have been doing. Because MetLife's huge. You're gonna have people and you're gonna have numbers. And with the NFL season being so short, people are gonna show out. There's some Devils games, especially last season when the Devils weren't performing so well. Not that many people come to the arena. The numbers aren't so great. So you kind of got to start using different methods. And this year, with the Devils being so great, the numbers have been amazing. And we seed the pot in the beginning, and we have this like rush as soon as the doors open. And that to me is what I love about 50-50. I know I'm raising money for charity, and I know I'm getting people excited. Just another aspect about being in the arena. So I've been doing 50-50 for almost 2 years now, and I love it. And I'm hoping to take the next step to supervise the department.
That's
I
awesome.
just, I just love I love it. I think 50-50 is the most raw form of sales you can have. You're selling a chance at winning, and you're selling an idea from a charity. So yeah, I love 50-50. The Devils being better this year, I mean, being a real contender, hopefully for the Stanley Cup, is really helped 50-50 out this year at Prudential Center.
For sure. Do you do the Seton Hall events or just the doubles?
So yeah, we don't do 50-50 at Seton Hall. I work the Seton Hall events. I work Seton Hall basketball, concerts, most events at Prudential Center. I'll be there
It's
doing
awesome.
different things. But yeah, 50-50 isn't active at Seton Hall. So I'm not doing that, but I'm working the games. Yeah, I'll do anything from being an usher. I'll work box office, whatever it ends up being, whatever my boss needs me to do. And that's just another great experience because the culture around Seton Hall basketball is really amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
people give New Jersey sports. I mean, if you come from a place like Chicago or Atlanta or even New York City, people are going to give New Jersey sports a bad rap because we've got one professional sports team that's labeled as our team. Um, but New Jersey, when it comes to sporting events, is really one of the best in the country.
we
Seton Hall
get
basketball, you've got the Jets, the Giants in New Jersey, you've got the Red Bulls, you've got the Devils, you've got Rutgers athletic department. We really have so much to offer, and that Prudential Center is like at the very center of that.
I was gonna say there's three New York teams that are yours. So the
Yeah,
Red Bull, the Jets, and the Giants. So I always tell everybody that we got Buffalo Bills, the true New York team. Nobody could beat the Buffalo Bills.
the Buffalo Bills are the only team in New York. There's a
Yeah,
great video of some fans, and they're asking some Buffalo fans, "Who's the only team in New York?" It's the Buffalo Bills. They're so many passionate fans. The Bills Mafia. It's really great to see that during the NFL season.
for sure, for sure. All right, so we got the Devils. They're 53-35. Chance for the Stanley Cup. I would say big move. They should get Patrick Kane, but he doesn't want to be here. I love Patrick Kane. I think that it would be great for their team. He just doesn't want to be here. But what would
He
you
doesn't
be
want to. He doesn't
GM?
want to.
What trade would you make to make the team better?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say probably Patrick Kane. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
we need if we're gonna make the team is already phenomenal.
yeah.
Uh, and if I were to pick players right now that are on our team that I know we need to keep, like there's so many that I'd want to stay with, like the first or second line. So the Devils are already such a great unit, and picking up someone like Patrick Kane would be phenomenal. But we have people like Dougie Hamilton. Like Dougie Hamilton, even as a defenseman, he's top 5 point scoring defenseman in the league. He's had so many clutch moments, and when players who historically in the last few seasons haven't stepped up for the Devils are starting to do it in overtime positions where it matters, in the power play where it matters, in the odd man rush, in just a counterattacking ice where it matters. That's what has made the Devil season so special. So picking someone up would be good, but I think the Devils are still a Stanley Cup contender without nobody in this transfer window. Without anybody in the transfer window, they are. I mean, I get to watch them every home game. They're exciting to watch on the ice. Jack's exciting to watch on the ice, but it's not just him. It's Siegenthaler, it's Dougie, like it's Jesper, it's everybody. It's Nico. It's the fans are just sort of picking them up by their collars and willing them on. Like this has been to me as not only a Devils fan but someone who works there, the most exciting time since 2018. Um, so yeah,
Awesome.
it's great to watch. I do think that will probably end up with a 2 seed in the division, which would
Cool.
again be huge. Which means Rangers in the first round, which that would be great for 50-50. Not great for the nerves.
Yeah, it's always 50-50 is always it's a big rivalry game like Rangers or they play the Islanders probably going crazy all the time.
Pot's always up when the Rangers come to town, when the Bruins are there, when the Islanders are there, when the Penguins are there. There's so many. That's the thing about hockey. In our metropolitan area, in the metropolitan and the Atlantic divisions, you have people who are from Boston who live in New Jersey. They grew up in Pittsburgh and now they live in New Jersey. Or they grew up in Manhattan and now they live in New Jersey. So there's a lot of away fans coming to a place like the Prudential Center. So yeah, it always gets really intense.
I get a pitch to you that works when I do 50-50, at least half the time. I say, hey, two people have won for me. It's my first year, so your chances are really high.
Yeah.
That didn't happen, but you always try to be you know?
Yeah, I got to try and sell them on it. We have some really great deals, and the pricing is a really good ladder at the Prudential Center. And I think I'm actually this year. I'm hoping if I do get promoted, I won't be able to raise money anymore. But I'm in the lead this year for fundraising for 50-50 at the Prudential Center and set myself a goal. So I've built relationships with some people who just come back every game. And so once you start doing that at a place like MetLife or Prudential, you get these little like mottos, like you were just saying, to get people to buy, but also donate because it is really for charity.
Sure, I agree.
That's what I love about it.
All right, what do you think of Jack Hughes? I feel like he teared it up this year, All-Star. What do you think of his step forward this year?
I think when you look at rookie Jack Hughes compared to now, beginning of last season, Jack Hughes compared to now, of course, he had that injury at the beginning of last year. It's a maturity thing. He's not only has he hit the weight room, number one, he's less fragile as a hockey player, and he is able to utilize his stick handling skills the way he wants. We've got obviously new coaching this season. There's a lot more freedom on the ice for him, and it's taken him to be our only All-Star this year. You cannot ask for more out of such a young player. There's so many young players in hockey who they were these phenoms, right? They were a first draft pick. They were an Olympic star. TJ Oshie, Patrick Kane. Like players who are in the NHL, not just for United States players, but Canada, wherever. Young players in the NHL. The hype is just overwhelming. There's so much as a teenager, early in your 20s, pressure. And I think this season, with the Devils being good, especially, he's playing for the New Jersey Devils. He's not on the Oilers. He's not on the Golden Knights. He's not on the Rangers. These teams that have, in the last 5 years, the Lightning, been consistent powerhouses, consistent contenders. Some people didn't know if he'd see playoff ice until his fourth or fifth season. But he's going to see it this year. And it's going to be because of him. So I think that pressure, he's lived up to it. And he hasn't let it get to him. You can see it in post game conferences. Like he's all about hockey. Everything to him is hockey. Off the ice, there's no problem. That's another thing in the NHL where like outside life doesn't play as big a role as in the NBA or the NFL. He's all about hockey and he just wants to win. So, I think the maturity is phenomenal. Getting used to the NHL lifestyle it's been phenomenal with him. So I'm just excited to see how he's going to continue to grow and see how he deals with the Stanley Cup playoffs pressure and to see if he's up to it. I think they're contenders. Say they go out in the first round, that's still a successful year for us with such a young team.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I totally agree. That's the first guest right after the Super Bowl. So that's you got an awesome position here. So you're a lucky person. You get to tell us what do you think about the Super Bowl? What's your take on it
This year Super Bowl or for next season, you said?
for this year?
This year, oh man, I was heavy on the Eagles this year. Um, I was actually really heavy on the Vikings from the get go. I obviously I have a really big obsession with really good offensive players in the NFL, and Justin Jefferson caught my eye obviously from the get go. Like the fact that he can perform with really no matter who the quarterback is, he's just amazing. So I thought the Vikings from the get go were going to be in the Super Bowl. Then I started watching the Eagles with Jalen Hurts or not, and I had the Eagles from the start of the playoffs, and I was really sad to see them lose in the Super Bowl. My dad is a massive Giants fan. Um, I'm a Jets fan, but seeing the Eagles play football is fun. But when you got Patrick Mahomes playing like he does in the playoffs, there's nothing you can really do about it. I thought Super Bowl was a phenomenal game. I was super scared. I'm always scared when we get to the Super Bowl that we're going to see Patriots Rams or Broncos Seahawks, where it's like I want to turn it off at halftime. I couldn't take my eye off the screen. I don't think anybody could. It was one of those games, and I just loved it. I ate it up. I put a bunch of money down on the Eagles. Lost a bunch of money on the Eagles,
Yeah,
but that's how it goes. You put a few units on the Eagles, you hope they pull through. The over hit. There was a few positives, um, but you had two. What's the story you want in the Super Bowl? You want two great quarterbacks. You want two great offenses. You want it to be end to end. You want it to be drive to drive, and it was. So you had to come back. Always fun to see a comeback, even if it's not the team you're betting on. The Chiefs are a great organization, and now you got to put Mahomes at this age, if he stays healthy, in the conversation of are we looking at an all time great?
for sure. And that's high scoring too. I didn't expect to be this high scoring. 38-35 was the final score.
Over under I think was 45 and a half. So blasted over that. I think people were having a little bit more faith in the defense. But Travis Kelce knows how to lose a man. Holy shit. I don't mean to curse, but that dude can just run off anybody and score a touchdown. He's just phenomenal to watch. He's like, it's impossible. It's almost impossible to beat him.
For sure.
Mahomes and Kelce are just when they're on, they're on, and he just knows how to lose his guy.
I
Get
feel
it?
like everyone showed out for the Chiefs. They played perfect football. I always say you got to play perfect, especially in this field. Can't make mistakes. That pick six that ended up hurting them, the Eagles. That was big.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the turn. This is the turn that's going to haunt them right here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, a defensive score is going to kill anybody in the Super Bowl. It's such a bummer. I mean, I thought Chiefs missing that field goal could have ended up, really being a problem. Any little thing matters in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, they really came to play. The Chiefs, other than that field goal, I mean, it's almost perfect offensive football, and Mahomes wasn't even at 100%. So,
yeah.
imagine if he had the mobility, you know, of fourth, fifth week of the season. He's just an absolute monster. And I mean, I want to know your opinion on this. Do you think two more rings he's in the GO conversation? Because I do.
You got to mention that. So, obviously, I think he's above Montana if he gets two more, for sure.
Yeah. I say we see two more rings on Mahomes, and he's right in the conversation because he is the team. He is the team, and then everybody else being as amazing as they are just adds to it. And then obviously Andy Reid is just a phenomenal coach as well. So
For sure, it makes everyone better. Kadarius Toney wasn't even on the field with the Giants. Caught a touchdown. Punt return was beautiful. I was like, let's go, Kadarius, because I'm not one of those guys, Giants fans, that's like,
as a hater for when somebody
Toney.
leaves.
I root for my guys. I root for them. I like Toney. And Juju Smith played really well as well. All the receivers played well, and you love to see that.
You do love to see that. And yeah, you love to see people get in a ring. This a Super Bowl celebration for a team like Kansas City. Such passionate fans. Like every time the Chiefs play at home, Arrowhead is deafening. So as much as people like to hate on the Chiefs, I'm not a real Chiefs hater. It's fun. They're fun to watch, and it's like watching Mahomes get the ball snapped to him. It's like watching a pitcher who's just on his game and can't get hit. Like it's almost as if it's always going to go his way. When he gets a fresh set of downs, he's going to make a huge impact, and that's just what's great to watch about the Chiefs. The Eagles did that too, though, almost as well as the Chiefs did.
For sure. All right, this has been the talk of like the Super Bowl. Here on the sports radio, what did you think of that holding penalty at the end of the game?
I thought it was soft. I did. I did. I mean, what did you think? You can get opinions of everybody. I think anyone who's one of my really good friends is a massive Chiefs fan, and she obviously wasn't so upset about it. So I'm looking at the perspective of an official in a Super Bowl. You're not gonna have happy people on both sides in a position like that. If he didn't call it, Chiefs fans are going to say it's a blown call, that they got robbed, whatever it is, if they didn't end up going down the field and scoring on that drive. Eagles fans would have shut up about it. And now we're in the position where the Eagles fans are outraged and the Chiefs fans don't even really need to talk about it. Because when you're the winning team, you don't really need to talk about it. Eagles fans, that will go down in history, in Eagles history, as probably one of the softest calls in history. What do you think about it? I want to know what you think about it because I've heard so many different opinions.
Well, I think he's saying one that was worse. The Rams Saints, that was a big one. Remember that for a few years? Pass interference.
That was NFC Championship. Yeah.
The Saints could have made the Super Bowl. Drew Brees, I'm a big Drew Brees fan.
No, that was worse. That was way worse. That was way worse. That was definitely worse.
Yeah. So you want my take? So my take on it, it was a hold. The official made the right play. Even Bradbury after the game, he said, I held them. So
it's a hold.
You got to call that. You got to call that, and the ref, I got to give it to him, made the call. It's a
hold, there. But it's a soft hold on the biggest stage. Seasons come down to this. The way the game was officiated, I don't think it's a holding. But that particular game is officiated. But maybe that's just because I put a bunch of units on the game. I don't know. I think it could have. It was a hold. It's a hold. It is, but it's a soft one. In the last 2 minutes of the Super Bowl. So there's my view on it. And I was pretty upset in the moment, but it is what it is. It was a hold. So.
All right, let's shift our focus to baseball. You told me all fair. You're a big Mets fan. Season tickets. You're probably ecstatic with the team right now.
I am. During this big spending spree by Steve Cohen, I think me and the guys that I watch baseball with, I've got a really good group of buddies that we've got our tickets next to each other in the Coca-Cola corner, and I go to all these games with. What did we want out of Steve Cohen this offseason? What was the expectation? And that is another year of playoff contention. As a Met fan, no matter how much money you spend, no matter who we're bringing in, where the money's being spent, we cannot say we're a World Series contender. What do we want out of our owner? World Series contention. That's not the culture of the New York Mets. It hasn't been, and I don't know if it will ever be that way. But what do we want as Mets fans, especially not having been in the playoffs from 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21? It's a 5-year playoff drought when we had just been in the World Series in 2015. We want another year of playoff contention. And I think with bringing in Kodai Senga, with Justin Verlander, with Jose Quintana, that's what we've got. We've got a Cy Young winner. We've got 2 guys, obviously a little bit older on the mound, in our rotation, like our 1 and 2 guys, like they're older. but Justin Verlander's a Cy Young winner, and Max Scherzer is a get the job done. He's an ace as well. So I hate to say, Verlander's our ace. Verlander will be our ace this year if he stays healthy, obviously. Both of them, could be prone to injury. But with the pickups that we've got, and with McNeil staying on our team, which needed to happen a little bit earlier, I'm very glad it did. Having somebody as reliable with average as he is, we have another year of playoff contention. I think we're in the hunt again. And I think that if we get into the playoffs this year, which I do believe it will be a wild card again, because people always hack them in. Dansby Swanson or not, the Braves are the best team in the NL East. They are. And the job that their office has done, their GM, their ownership of the Atlanta Braves, they've got it down to a science. They are the best team in the National League East. And we can't come out here as cocky as we were last season with how good of a team we had, with Buck Showalter being as good of a coach as he is, that we are the outright division winners. We are the best team in the NL East. The Philadelphia Phillies made the World Series last year. We cannot say that we're the best team in the NL East. I think on paper, and spring training will prove a few of those facts, that we are the second best team. But Atlanta, Philly, you've got.
Don't sleep on the Marlins.
Marlins, that's what I'm just going to say. You've got Alcantara. I mean, the Marlins are phenomenal. We are looking at a possible 3-team playoff division again. And I think that's actually going to be the case. So this year's, I don't think we're going to have 100 wins this year. I actually was just having this conversation. I've got my notes here. I think the Braves take the division. If you want you didn't ask, but I'm going to give you my.
Go ahead. Yeah, go crazy. Go ahead.
I think the Mets will be happy this year with 93, 94 wins. And I think with the second spot, we will have matured enough. There will be the leadership in the clubhouse is good, but it needs to be a bit of a more winning mentality. I don't know what you thought about it, but I went to all 3 wildcard games, and I did not see a lot of fight. I saw a lot of, we get to the 6th inning with 1 hit, and it's like, oh, we've lost the game already. You see fighting a few of the guys, but Lindor's got to be the leader in the clubhouse. He's got to be the leader of the team. He's that first big money signing. He needs to be the leader. Alonso needs to back him up. McNeil needs to be a leader. We've got spring training here. We've got Francisco Alvarez. We've got Brett Beatty. We need Escobar to be a leader at the third base. That third base hole is going to be a big, big, big factor into how our season goes.
Forgetting Nimmo too. Nimmo, Marte,
Marte. I mean, I think Nimmo, what the role that Nimmo plays is great. Already. I don't expect a whole lot more out of him, or really Jeff McNeil. Marte needs to stay healthy. End of the day, Marte needs to stay healthy. That's it. Our outfield is good. He needs to get at bats. If he gets at bats, that changes our offense. We went from 2019, where we didn't have anybody in the first half of the season hitting over 275, to a batting title. That's the culture that we need to maintain. Because if we're going to be a winning culture, if we're going to be the best team in our city, have the best record in our city, which we did last year, it's got to be a culture. And Steve Cohen's shelling out the wallet. He is giving over the money. You see this in sports all over the world. You see it in America. You see it a lot in baseball. He is forking over the cash. Let's have our management. Let's have our clubhouse go and get the chemistry together. String together wins. The New York Mets cannot be a 5-loss-in-a-row team this year. That cannot happen if we want to keep momentum and keep consistency. Streaking is really important, but doing it consistently. I don't really care about 13 wins in a row if we're going to go 2-11 on a road trip to the Dodgers and the Giants and the Padres. The Padres are, like, the way the schedule's suited this year, we're playing everybody. And everybody can be good. You don't know what you're going to see out of the Orioles. We play the Orioles. You don't know what you're going to see out of the Mariners. 3-game series, wherever it is in the season, matters. It's 162 games. The closer you get to August and September, in the dog days of the MLB season, the Mets are going to need to stay consistent, and that's it. And they're going to need to stay healthy. It's the same thing we say every year, but look now. We've got the wallet now. Let's make it happen. It doesn't need to happen in the most attractive way. It doesn't need to be pretty. But why can't we be like the Nationals, 2019 Nationals? Why can't we be like the 2022 Phillies? That's what we should be aiming for. We shouldn't be aiming for this air of dominance, because that adds so much pressure to a lot of these players who haven't really experienced playoff pressure. Pete Alonso has played 3 playoff games. After leaving Cleveland, this was Lindor's first time back in the postseason. We got to get it together. We cannot have a repeat of the wild card series in 2022. That was an embarrassment.
Yeah, for sure. The Padres wiped the floor with the Mets. That can't be happening.
Musgrove, Darvish came
They
to
had
play
the 3 best pitchers: Scherzer, DeGrom, and Bassett.
DeGrom got the job done. DeGrom got the job done. I don't put a lot of blame on him. Max Scherzer was horrific.
Yeah.
I was at all these games.
Yeah.
And I thought Jacob DeGrom got the job done with run support. He got the job with run support. He let up 3 runs, or I don't know. I think he let up 2 runs. The run support was there from McNeil, from Lindor, from Alonso. If we have 4 runs for our pitcher through 6 innings, they are going to perform better. That's just how baseball works. If you've got somebody and you see, oh, we've got 1 hit, I'm going to start to shake. I'm going to start to sweat. I know how I'd be on the mound in the postseason, having not been there for six years. It's ridiculous. Before that wild card start, our last postseason pitcher was Noah Syndergaard, who had bounced around from the
pitched against
Anaheim and Philly by the time that we got back to the postseason. So the Mets are going to Met. They're going to be Metsy. We know that. We can
new owner though, new regime, the spending. Now they're big money. They're a big money team now. I think
they're a big money team, but they still have a losing culture. They're a big money team with a losing culture. I was born a New York Mets fan. My father has been a New York Mets fan his entire life. I have lived with this team since I was a child. I've known heartbreak like no other. I have devoted myself to being a fan of this team my whole life. We have a losing culture. People associate the New York Mets with losing. And that's going to need to change, because I'm at a win or go home game at Citi Field, and it wasn't even close to full. It's on the fans too. It is. It's on the fans too. You could have fit another 4,000-5,000 people. It wasn't loud. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. We have a losing culture, and our own fans know that. If diehard fans or even moderate fans, fencers who are here looking at this new, fresh team, the motto of this postseason was these Mets. What Mets? We can't get the job done in a wild card series at home.
Yeah,
in a third empty ballpark. I was so disappointed, and that's going to have to change too. And that takes a winning culture. That takes 4 or 5 playoffs. We need to make it happen. We need to make a deep run like 2015, because I was at the World Series in 2015. It was full, and people are excited. We need to get popular culture, people in pop culture excited. Jerry Seinfeld, Kevin James, Chris Rock. The Mets have been a joke my whole life. We aren't a joke anymore, and we need to let everyone else know that. And we got to be New York's team. That's the end of that rant for you. But
sure.
I love this team, and I love Francisco Lindor, and I love Pete Alonso, and I love Jeff McNeil. I have a lot of faith in them being some of the best ball players in the league. So I hope that they can get it done.
Yeah, I love the rant battle. He did great. I wonder what this rant's going to be about Correa now. That was be my next thing.
Oh man, I'm happy. I'm happy that we don't have Carlos Correa.
Oh wow, I think
At
I'm
the,
gonna be like, oh, Correa was
at the end
great.
of the day, we saw the truth about Carlos Correa. Um, what has been the story with the Mets has been injuries for a long time. That's just another storyline. And if we've got somebody who's injury prone, do we want our $300 million going towards that? We do not. He can't pass a physical. He can't play for us. That's it. We should have seen that coming, and people should have been skeptical of that when he didn't go to the Giants. Because why wouldn't he want to go to the Giants?
Well,
They
Giants
chose not to
don't
make that
have a
investment.
don't have a team, dude. It's he's on the only star. He would be the only star on the team if you went.
That's, in my opinion, as a baseball player, when you're being offered more money to be the star of a team, to be built around, the Giants will be a playoff team in the next few seasons. They will. They are in a rebuild. They will. Carlos Correa could have been. I know he's played for the Astros before. A little bit. He was a supporting character. He was a main character, but Jose Altuve is the Astros. Um, and Carlos Correa was there as a cheater. Jose Altuve's been there. He's been an Astro. He is an Astro. Like him or not, he is. Carlos Correa is a personality, and he's been in Minnesota last season. I think that's a good place for him to be. The Twins, obviously, that division this past season was just a roller coaster of just it's just a dumpster fire and a roller coaster, the AL Central. But um, I'm glad we don't have Carlos Correa because that is a lot of money for
Yeah,
somebody with
sure.
a very asterisk filled career.
Right.
He can hit the ball. We know that he can hit the ball. We know he can hit the ball. It would have been good to have him if we knew he was going to stay healthy and if we knew he was going to behave himself. But we can't say that he was going to.
Yeah.
Third base is going to be a problem. Third base is going to be a
You
problem.
don't trust Beatty? Come on, Beatty. I love Beatty. Brooklyn Cyclones. I've been going to. I haven't seen him since
Oh yeah,
day one. The Cyclones, baby,
I love
racking it
Brett
up
Beatty.
over there.
I love Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty's not a class third baseman yet. Eduardo Escobar is going to start there, and he's going to be a mentor.
It just